Hi, guys. Welcome back to our podcast. On this week's episode, we're going to talk about something that we've kind of been dreading to talk about, and that is our current housing situation. We've talked about it a little bit in past episodes, but we haven't fully filled y'all in on everything that's happened since we got married. So we've been married now for
A year and a half.
yeah, I think like a year and 7 months, a little over a year and a half. And we had started looking at houses before we got married for a while. How long do you think?
Well, we were searching since we got the job together. We were searching before that, so it had been about 4 years now of us looking at different places and shooting ideas back and forth with each other.
Yeah, we started looking back when we were dating, but it's probably been 2 years of us seriously looking, since we got engaged.
Yeah.
Which our engagement anniversary is coming up in a few days. We've almost been it's almost been 2 years since you proposed.
Yeah.
So anyways, so yeah, we got married and the plan was just to move into the house on my parents' property and rent from them. So that's what we've been doing for the past year and a half. It's been a really good opportunity for us, and we're very thankful for the opportunity.
Yeah, very grateful.
My parents make us pay barely anything to stay here, so we've been able to save a lot of money by doing this, which it does come with its
it's perks. There's perks and there's downsides.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like
it
that's
comes with
any...
this. I feel like we're also making sacrifices to stay here. We are driving a lot further for work and stuff like that, but it's been helpful towards saving money, and we're really grateful for the opportunity. But yeah, so anyways, we moved in here right after we got married, and now it's been a year and a half of looking for houses and looking for property and trying to figure out if we just want to build a house or buy a house
that's overpriced and extremely ridiculous.
Yeah. We have gone through so many properties. I swear, I don't even know how many. I think we've seen every house on the market in our area.
Several different times.
Yeah.
Because we went back and go through and see if they've dropped the price, or there's one that we hearted that we sent back and forth and we debated, and then we decided we didn't like the layout of it.
Yeah.
Or it's too expensive. There's so many different problems with having the same, looking on the same thing, because we'll send the same house to each other, or I was thinking about the same one, but this is what the issue was.
Yeah. We've definitely gone through a lot.
Yeah.
We'll drive around sometimes looking for new houses to look at, and we'll be oh, look, there's that one we looked at that one time, or there's that one.
Yeah.
We literally have seen all the houses on the market. But I don't know. We're in a good situation right now. We're not renting, so we're not going to get kicked out at a certain time, or we don't have a lease.
So we're going to have to leave and or renew it, and we'll have to stay here for another year.
So it's really nice in that aspect to have the situation the way it is, because we have the opportunity to wait and get something that's really good. We don't have to rush into getting anything.
Yeah.
So that's been really good and nice, because we're able to save money and
beneficial.
Wait for a good opportunity to come up.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we've been looking for the past 2 years now, and it really feels like there hasn't been really a good deal or a great opportunity.
Which there's been good deals on the market, and
which I don't even know if they're good deals, but
for what it is right now, I feel like they were good deals. We were just not willing to do that at the time. We didn't have the money for that at the time.
That's true.
We didn't want to stretch ourselves thin.
Yeah, the further along we've gotten, the more money obviously we've been able to save. So our budget is going up a little bit, but I don't know. Even still, there will be good deals, but it just feels like they're never in the area we want to be in.
Yeah, they're either really far out where it's an hour for me to drive anyways, or they're super in a weird area, or it's not in a nice area.
Yeah, like super sketchy. So I don't know. Maybe our problem is we just want to be in a nice area, so we're gonna have to pay more for that. But that's kind of been our dilemma. It's just finding something in our prime location that is in a safe area. There's a town that we'd like to move to. It's between my family and his family because they live an hour apart. So it's right in the middle. So it's literally 30 minutes to either family.
Yeah.
And it's like a little over 30 minutes for
Me
him to get to work and for me to get to the city that I normally do a lot of work in.
Yeah.
So it's really just the prime location, but apparently it's the prime location for a lot of people because it's hard to find a good deal there. Like any good deal that's gone on the market, I feel like is a piece of trash. Like, and it doesn't make sense to buy.
Their pricing makes no sense. In our area, particularly, most homes are under 250. That are in a decent area. So it doesn't make any sense. It'll be super far out and in a cruddy area, but they're still wanting like 250 for it, or the max price that they could possibly think of for that area, and it doesn't match any of the other homes, or logistically it doesn't make sense for us to buy it, and that's what's been the struggle. And we wish that we could have a better opportunity, or we could go, there's other towns that we could go look in and find a house pretty easily, but then we're hours away from her family, hours away from my family, or vice versa. We're really far away from work, but we're close. There hasn't been anything that's been in the right location that's going to benefit both of us and really make it easier, and an area that you feel safe and comfortable to be at home.
Yeah. There's a few spots that are like closer to work, but they're far from our families, but like they're really sketchy, and I just don't want to be home alone in an area that doesn't feel very safe. But I don't know. So I guess location's been our biggest problem. Like there's houses on the market in the location that we want to live in, but like I said, they're like really crappy houses that are basically falling apart, and that's like the only really good deal. And if it's like a normal house, like it could be like a normal house that like has good like structure, but it's like super outdated. Those are like
the most expensive ones.
Yeah, and they're not even like nice. Like, so it's hard to justify spending money on it because they're like outdated houses, but they're selling for almost the same price as new houses in other towns nearby. Because there's that one town that's like
just north of it, that
15 minutes north,
a brand new, what was it, almost 1,300 square foot for 205, and they're wanting 170 for 1,100 square foot.
175.
175 for an 1,100 square foot house that has been built for years.
Yeah, it's like
and has structural foundation issues.
Yeah. Anyway, so it just, this whole market these days just doesn't really make sense. And it's just frustrating because we like can't find any property in the area we wanted to live. We thought about just building a house, which obviously will take longer, but if you do the math on it, it makes so much more sense. Like it's literally around the same price to build a brand new house than it is to buy an old house that's like 60 years old and falling apart. So it's just hard to decide what we want to do. We're kind of stuck in the middle, but even the whole building process, it's kind of like we can't find property, so that's not really even an option.
That's not over $100,000.
Yeah.
Our sweet spot is anywhere from 1 acre to 5 acres is really what I would like personally. We both grew up on farms, so acreage and space away from people is really nice and something we would prefer to continue for our family. There just hasn't been anything again, and which, it might change, But our original plan when we first got married and moved out here was a year and then really start pushing for building. And even with throughout that year, we were still looking.
Mhm.
It's getting to the point now where we have wasted so much time, what I feel like wasted time on other things that we thought were going to pan out but didn't, which isn't our fault, I guess.
Yeah, which I don't know. I feel like we have to look at it in a different way of not wasted time, because even though it's like frustrating, like it feels like we wasted the time, we've also been able to save more money. So I feel like even though it's like very frustrating, I feel like in some ways it was a blessing, because it like held us back from going for something that would have had us not doing well financially.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
Because a
guess
lot
it's
of
true.
people are just anxious to buy, and they'll just buy whatever, and then like even if it puts you in a bad financial situation. And so I feel like if we felt desperate enough, we would just jump into something. And I think like us having a plan that we were working towards, even though it didn't pan out, it kind of held us back from going after something that we couldn't afford at
That's
the
true.
time. Even though it's very frustrating. We had found this plot of land that we were going to try to purchase.
Yeah.
It was like a really run down property. And the company we were going to buy it for was like a private company, or buy it from. They were a private company, and they had bought it like tax sale super cheap. Anyways, they just listed the property, and it was a decent deal. It was going to be a lot of work to get it cleaned up.
Yeah. In the end, it would have been really worth it. It had a pond on it.
Yeah, and it was in the location. That was the main thing. Like, it might not be worth more to other people, but for us, it was just kind of like the reason we wanted it so bad was because it was in that prime location, and it just seems like near impossible to find anything else in that area that is in our budget. Like, everything in that area is so high. So anyways, we had gone and looked at the property, and it was super trashed. Like, it looked like it had squatters on it. It had like old cars on it, old like buildings, and just trash and like other objects.
Yeah.
Just giving signs that people were out there, like, I don't know, doing stuff back there. But anyways, so once we had looked at it, we're like, okay, well, maybe they'd be willing to negotiate a little bit, because like it's pretty bad back here.
Yeah.
So we went to the office, talked to them, and the lady basically said she didn't know if her boss would negotiate, because he doesn't normally, but
Yeah.
that she would ask him and she'd give us a call back. This was last summer, coming up on almost a year. I think it was last July.
Yeah.
So anyways, that all happened. We were like, okay, we went home. She never gave us a call following up. And I think Clayton called like 3 times and left voice messages.
I called a few times, left voice messages, called their main office to see if I can get anybody, got no one.
Yeah. And so basically they were what felt like they were ignoring us. Obviously we don't know, something could have happened, but they never got back a hold of us, and they wouldn't answer any calls. So anyways, we just were like, okay, well, I guess we're not going to get it. So we kind of forgot that thought. We kept looking in October, this past fall. So it had been several months since we had looked at the property. We went to look at another property, which wasn't in our prime location, but it was like close enough that we were willing to make it work.
Yeah, and it was in a somewhat decent area.
Yeah. But the property was pretty high. It was almost, I think it was a little over double for the same amount of property as the plot we had looked at earlier that summer.
Yeah.
So it was just insane. We were like, this is literally crazy. Like,
It was like 10 minutes from the other property.
yeah.
10 or 15 minutes from the other property.
So we were like, this is crazy. Like, if we're crazy to pay that much, like it's double of what we could get the other one for, or what we were going to get the other one for.
Yeah.
So we were really thinking about it. We didn't really know. We were talking to my parents about it, and they were like, well, what about that one property? They were like, you could just pay what they're asking for it and clean it up, and you'd still save some money, and you'd be in your prime area that you're wanting to be in. So we go on this whole wild goose chase. We go back to the other property and look up the people who were selling it, looked up on their website to see if it was still available. And they had actually price dropped it down to the price that we were
originally bidding on it.
Yeah, what we were going to offer back in July. So that was a little frustrating because we were like, they told us they wouldn't negotiate, and then we look back months later and they've dropped it down to what we were literally going to offer. So anyways, we were like, oh my gosh, it must be a sign, like this must be the property for us. So we got really excited and we're like this just has to be it because it just seems like it's working out perfectly. So we got a hold of them and they basically were acting like they were just going to like sell it to us. Like, yeah, okay. Like we'll give you the title and you can give us the money and all that. But we wanted to go through title insurance and make sure there was nothing on the property that would
no liens,
come back to bite us in the butt later.
Yeah.
And thankfully I'm glad we did that. Because, well, I'm not really glad because we're not getting the property, but you know, if we were to have gotten the property, it was a better idea.
Yeah, it does save us time and really put a lot of effort, a lot of saved effort that would have been for nothing.
That would have been a nightmare if that whole thing had, yeah.
So the insurance company found a lien on it.
Yeah, title insurance.
They went down and hired a lawyer and everybody to figure it out and really put that into motion. At least that's what we were told.
So we were told it was going to get all started. Like they took it, we like took the stuff to the title insurance company. They were working on stuff. I don't think we heard back from them from October to like December. It was December before I think we heard back, and they were finally quote unquote done with their part. And then from there it went to like the people who are selling it. They sell stuff, so they have an attorney that they work with. So they took it to their attorney because the title insurance did find something on the property that needed to be cleared off before. I mean, we could still technically purchase it, but it could
come backfire on us, and they could come take the property from us.
So we needed to get it cleared off before we were willing to purchase it. So anyways, we were told that they were working on it and that it would be ready, like, I don't know how long they told us initially, but
60 days. Initial 30 to 60 days is what they told us.
Oh yeah, yeah, because it was like a month. They were like, it could take like a month to like 2 months. Anyways, so we roll around to like end of February. It's been that time. We reach back out. We're like, hey, like we were trying really hard to be patient. We didn't reach out to them until the maximum amount of time that they said it was going to be. We reach out. We're like, hey, like, how's the process going? Are we good to move forward? And they basically come back and say, it'll be another 45 days. So then that was like beginning of March. So we're like, okay, it's going to be mid-April. So we wait a couple more months. Mid-April, that was like almost a month ago now.
Yeah.
We reach out to them and they're like, actually, it's going to be another 2 weeks. So then end of April. And so at this point, we're just like, this is ridiculous. Like, they've lied to us so many times, telling us that we were going to be able to purchase it by a certain date. This is like the third time that they had extended it out. We're like, this is pretty much our breaking point, just because we feel like we're never going to get it. Like, they're kind of like,
they're giving us a run around.
It feels really fishy. And so anyways, all that happens 2 weeks ago, end of April. We get back a hold of them and they tell us that the new date is now second week of June. We're like, what? That's a whole nother like month and a half away. And so anyways, we've just been very frustrated because we had talked to a builder. We had planned like a timeline of like when we were hoping to get into our house. We were going to have our new house. We were going to be in the prime location we wanted. Like, everything just seemed like it was going to work out great. And then like literally it all just started like going down the drain. And so it's just really frustrating when you get other people involved. Like, we got a builder involved and we were really excited to work with him. And then now we're back down to ground zero. Like, we're like, well, they lied to us. We're not getting the property after all. So it's just been frustrating.
It's been a long process, a long 6 months of you said this, she said this.
Yeah, and at this point, it's been more than 6 months.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost been a year since we initially went into them. Like, it's been 10 months since we've first went into their offices to talk to them about it.
This was going to be our exciting news this week, is hopefully that we are going to have land
so
and
sad.
start building, but it is postponed. We are going, however, bright side today.
Well, we don't really know if it's
Maybe.
a bright side. We're not really getting our hopes up.
There is a home that we're going to go take a look at. It's a decent chunk of money, but we're hoping we can get them down enough to where it would be worth it.
Yeah,
to
well,
live
we
there
gotta
for a
decide
little
if we
bit.
even like it anyways. We haven't seen the inside. Like, we've seen pictures, but, you know, it can be deceiving. Like, you can see pictures of something and it can look really nice, and then you go look at the actual house and it's not nice. So we're going to go look at it today. If we end up liking it, might shoot them a lower offer.
Yeah.
We're not hopeful that we're going to get it, but it's been on the market for a while, and it's been one of those houses that we've like, you know, we could make that work, but we just didn't want to pay what they're asking for it because it's really high and it just doesn't make sense. But
Since it's been there,
we
for
feel like
so
it's
long.
sat there long enough that we're like, okay, we'll just go look, shoot them a lower offer, and if they say no, whatever. But, like, you know,
It is what it is.
we can try.
Doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been a pretty discouraging past couple of weeks because, like, I'd already talked about how, like, frustrated I've been, like, how, like, emotional I've been, like, crying about everything, and then to, like, get all that bad news about how we're basically probably not getting it. Like, I think at this point we were just giving it up.
Yeah. There's no reason for them to give us this much runaround.
Mm-hmm.
I looked into it and I even asked some people about it, and the consensus of it was they're just not doing their job correctly.
Yeah.
There's no urgency in it. They don't care if we get it or not. And it almost seems like they
So
are
rude.
willing to buy. So how it sits, it's landlocked in the back, and there's 2 properties in the front that has an easement on one of them. Our originally plan was to buy up one of the front 2 properties because they're going on tax sale the time that conveniently we're getting back.
That they just pushed the date that we were allowed to buy this property to the exact same day that the properties around it are going for tax sale, like going up for tax sale. So basically they're saying all 3 of the property, or, well, they're not saying this, but we know all 3 of the properties are going to quote unquote be available that day. So, our thought process is kind of like maybe somebody else is like they're purposely holding it back so they can
Purchase
all
it
the properties
through that way.
I don't know. We don't know what's going on. The lady who's like helps run the company, who we were like talking back and forth with, she has said that she said it's the attorney that's being slow and not going through with anything. Like, you know, they're delaying the process. So she says that they're really sketchy and like all that. We don't really know who's not doing their job. We just know
We're not getting land.
Yeah, they're not doing their job. Like, it's been 10 months. Like, we're pretty much giving up hope now.
At least on that piece of property.
Yeah. So we've continued to look, but like I said, we spent so much time. It's honestly sad. Like, we need to get off, but like we've spent so much time like looking on Zillow. Like, we've seen every house within like a 60-mile radius.
Yeah, I don't think there's a house that's on my Zillow that isn't like gray.
Yeah, like
all
not
of them
been looked
are
at.
Not red anymore.
Yeah. So anyways, it's just been a whole process. It's been frustrating. We have been through the ringer, it feels like. And honestly, we just feel bad for anybody who's having to go through the house buying process right now, because it's really hard to get a good deal. And
What
like,
feels like a good deal.
good deals
anyways.
just don't exist anymore. Literally his sister, my sister-in-law, her and her husband, they are currently trying to buy too, and have been trying to buy for the past 2 years, and kind of the same situation. Yeah. Just, you go look at a house, it looks nice, it turns out to be a crappy house, and they want a big chunk of money for it. So there's just not good deals out there. So I feel for anybody who's trying to buy these days, because we've seen the market go up, because we were literally looking back in 2020 when the market kind of crashed. There were some good deals, but now it's like good deals do not exist.
Yeah.
But anyways, we will keep you guys updated. We're about to go look at the house. Literally right after this, we're about to leave. Go look at that house. Hopefully it goes well. If not, I mean, maybe it'll just be like a good distraction.
Fingers crossed.
Get our mind off of our upsetting news. But anyways, hopefully something pans out. I'm just trying to like trust that God has a plan for us and that he'll guide us whichever way we're supposed to go. Which is easier said than done, but I'm trying.
That's good.
Trying to be patient and just hope that he opens up. I mean, like, you know, obviously I think he'll open up the door that we're supposed to go through. So, anyways.
Particularly a home, if I would say.
A home door, hopefully. But, you know, anything we can move into. I take that back.
Not anything.
I'm just kidding.
Do you think it's us? Do you think we're too picky?
Do you think we're the problem? I don't know. I think we could have made things work, and I think we still could make things work. But like I said, we've been very blessed. We're in a situation where we don't have to make something work. You know what I mean? So we kind of get the option to choose. So we can be picky because we have something to, like, quote unquote, fall back on.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So I think that's a really good plus of the situation we're in right now, and I'm really grateful for that. It's just been hard to, like, be patient and try to wait for a good deal, and then literally no good deals.
Yeah. And by good deals, we just mean affordable. Like, that's our good deal. We just mean affordable.
Yeah, we don't even mind, like, doing a fixer-upper or something, but, like, even fixer-uppers are, like, literally, we've seen fixer-uppers in the area we want to be in listed for $200,000 plus. For just a normal, like, sized house, 3-bed, 1 bath.
The going rate too in that area. That's the insane part. Even the houses that are needing to actively be fixed up are going for the exact same price as
newer,
houses
nicer
that
homes.
Are rebuilt and like done.
It doesn't make sense. Anyways, all that to be said, that's our whole spill about the real estate market right now and house shopping and how it's going for us. We're just going to continue to pray about it, and hopefully a door opens for us. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say about it.
Okay. I think I'm done. I don't have anything else to say besides being frustrated.
Okay. We're going to go look at the house. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next Wednesday.
If you made it this far, please hit the subscribe button.
And we love you guys.
Bye. Bye.